Traci Lynn Ministries, and we're going to pick it up. Oh, yes, part 2 of the motivation and inspiration that we had last week. I mean, my goodness, woo, I am worn out. It has been a time. It has gone on from glory to glory, from strength to strength, and as you already know, the live audience is in full effect. Thank God for the audience. Mwah! Love you. So as we pick up where we left off, we were talking to all the diamonds and all the diamonds in the Diamond Club, and we were giving you some motivation. I know you really enjoyed it, and we needed to hear from Melinda Crutchfield. We wanted to know, what is your secret to success? What is it for you that keeps you going?
Wow. Well, first of all, we said from glory to glory. I'm going to say to God be the glory.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Lynn, and all that you do. You're just so amazing. And from the moment that I met you back in the early 90s, I was just amazed. I was working at a hotel. I was a manager in the catering and sales department of a major hotel in Philadelphia, and I just happened to leave my office and go to the lounge restaurant area, and in walks this dynamic woman with flyers, passing out flyers. But the way that she walked in, she was bold, she was beautiful, and she looked brilliant and blessed. And I said, who is that? And when she handed me her flyer and her business card had her picture on it, I was like, wow, just to be like that. I knew there was something more to this life, and I knew I was able on the inside to do more and be more and to become more. And when I met her, oh my goodness, she inspired me. And I know the inspiration is breathing life into someone. She breathed life into me at that moment, and I followed her during my journey. The journey was amazing. I went through all of the ups and downs of the journey, but to know that it was going to lead me to a time and a season right now is amazing with Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry. You know, one of my favorite books says there's a time and a season for everything, right? Yes. So I knew that there were 4 seasons, is the ones that we think about, fall, winter, spring, and fall. But then I found out about the 5th season, which is the dew season. Yes. And when I understood what the dew season was, and I'm not talking about D-O dew, and I'm not talking about D-E-W dew, I'm talking about D-U-E dew.
Yes.
And, you know, I was really grateful when I thought about that. I was like, in due season you'll reap if you faint not. Let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So I knew that as I was working as a catering manager in that hotel, I was still operating on fear. Out of fear, I still had self-doubt. And I knew that if I didn't step outside of my comfort zone, I'd never reach that due season.
Yes.
So I had to step out of my comfort zone because there's no comfort in the growth zone and there's no growth in the comfort zone. So I needed to push myself to the next level and trust God along the journey. And I often tell my partners, you have to do it afraid if you're fearful, because as you do the thing, you'll get the power. And I saw the power walking in the door that day with you, Dr. Traci Lynn, and I'm so grateful that God led me back around years later to be in partnership with you and this dynamic company. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm grateful.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Melinda. Yeah, that was worth the wait to get that. That was really good. Now I'm going to ask Charlene Madison, I do have a question for you. How is it as an entrepreneur, and I know a part of your story, you were a salon owner, so an experienced stylist, you know, always, even my stylist said, that hair is bumped. Yeah. I mean, thank you. So people notice that, I mean, you're good at what you do. You owned a salon. When did the dream arrive for you? When did you go from, I have this salon, but you said no more. You closed that down and went on to bigger things. How did you find the strength, to do it? And what was that moment to keep you motivated through the process?
Well, what happened for me was I was working, and like you said, I was a successful business owner and was introduced to Traci Lynn through just seeing the fabulous jewelry, just like most of, I'm sure, the partners and the guests. And what happened for me was, somebody started talking to me about the business. And I said, okay, a little extra. Who wouldn't want a little extra? So I said, okay, well, let me, indulge in this opportunity. And then from that, I started to make the money that I was making in a week, I was making in 2 hours. And I mean, we had heard that. And I mean, I was taught that through the process. And I said, this can't be real. And when it started happening for me, I said, Now, the second half of my life, I knew that I didn't want to continue to, as much as I loved being a stylist, I knew that I didn't want to continue to be on my feet that long and doing all that, because a lot of people talk about cosmetology and stylists and they always talk about the money, but it really is a physical job. And I thought, when I get in the second part of my life, I don't want to have to be working that hard. And when I was able to make the money that I was making in a week in a matter of 2 hours, I said, something to this. And it was like you said, on the last broadcast, I've gone through the process where, it started to shift. And then so I went from working every other Saturday to no Saturdays to maybe on Friday, maybe on Thursday. And eventually I was able to earn enough money with the business that I could walk away. But I had a conversation with you. And again, you spoke on the last broadcast where I respect your opinion. And so I put it to you, and you said, maybe not the time. Wait a little longer. And so I worked diligently, as one of my other panelists said, Janet Cooper Pitts, I worked diligently and saved. And then after about another year and a half, the Lord spoke to me and said, it's time. It's time. And so, scared, like Melinda said, went with that fear anyway, and kept the salon open and said, I'm gonna go ahead and venture out. Because sometimes you hold on to something and your due season is over. And you don't walk out on that faith,
right? And
you're thinking that I have to hold on to this, but faith without works is dead. So I decided to go ahead and walk out on faith. And I believe that until I made that concrete decision, I was holding up the process. And I think you had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that until he made that decision, he was holding up that process. Absolutely. And I think until I made that decision, and I know there's people out there that love what they do, and I'm not saying that may not be your process, but I know part of my process was until I closed that door, God wasn't going to take me to the next level.
Right.
And so that's how it went for me. And I haven't looked back. Still, love that industry. Yes, but I knew my season for that was up.
And you walked in due season. Due season. Now, I know, Teresa Rolak-Proctor, I know that, again, I always enjoy all of your motivation that you put out there. And you're very active even in your church. How do you stay motivated so that you can motivate your team? An empty person, an empty vessel can't give anything to anybody else. So if you don't find time to fill up and get what you need, you can't possibly give it to someone else. So how do you stay motivated?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Lynn, again. That motivation is so key. I know that I don't have the power or the ability to motivate anyone. However, I can create a motivating environment. But just what you just mentioned, Dr. Lynn, you can only do that by allowing people to pour into you. There should be 3 people in your life. One person that you're pouring into. The second person is one that is on the same level as you, such as my partners here, iron sharpens iron, right? And then the other person should be one that's pouring into you, your mentor, right? Yes. So then every single day that I get up, I cannot move forward without meditation, without speaking to God and listening to God. Yes. A lot of times you speak, you're like, oh, thank you, Jesus, all right, that's it.
Exactly. Right.
A lot of times people wonder why, wow, God is really speaking to me. I wake up at 3 a.m. every single day because he's speaking to me. Well, that's because you're not listening at the right time. That's it. He promised you that you would have sweet sleep, right? So why would he be waking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Okay, anyway. All right. So I gotta stay on full. I have to stay on full. And I tell my partners, especially my leaders, that you should always remain on 10. No matter what, you need to remain on 10. How do you do that? Is to feed your mind, your body, your soul. Your temple. You gotta treat your temple right. That starts with eating properly, exercising. And, we just keep praying over that exercise. And I love to exercise. Yes, I do. Glory to God. and then that mind is everything. Yes. If your mind is not right, you cannot accomplish anything without a renewed and right mind. Yes. And so every single day I'm listening to something. I listen to my pastor, Dr. Michael Freeman. I listen to Dr. Traci Lynn. I'm reading my good friend John. You know John. Maxwell.
I know John.
So I'm always feeding my mind to be able to pour into the vessels of my partners and impact the lives of others.
Excellent. Thank you. Very good. Very good. And so, Levita, my question would be for you, then how, because I know with your team, you love to pass the mic. You motivate, you inspire them, you're changing lives. I mean, that is why we do what we do. But where was the point for you that you had a transformation of the mind? The Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we have to renew that mind on a daily basis. Anybody got to renew that mind daily? Yeah, that mind has to be renewed because life happens. Yes. Life happens all the time, and it can get in the way of the direction that you were going. Yes. And sometimes when people are faced with detours, they're stuck because they don't know which way to go. And so instead of moving around it, they either stand still or they retreat. Yes. And I know that you've seen roadblocks, but how do you keep finding the auto direction to get out of that and change that course?
Oh, Dr. Lynn, how do you get out of that? Well, again, greetings again to everyone. What I can think about is, of course, when women in a delivery room, it's already been implanted. The only way you can deliver it is you gotta push. There's no way around it. I don't think they came up with another technology that allowed the baby just to come. But if it's already in you, you already made up your mind. And that's the key, Dr. Lynn. I already made up my mind that we're going to be successful for us in our business. That's going to show others. So therefore, if it's in there, it's in the belly, I want to be that midwife, not a motivator, but an activator to help you push it. I know it bumps and things are gonna come up. Even, I lost my mother last November. That was a time that I wanted to shut down, but the speaker that you had just a couple of weeks ago said the people still have to eat. Although I was in that position, still in a delivery room, because I want to help produce more leaders, want to help others, and I want to stop the delivery process. I wanted to cease fire, stop right there, but that wasn't even an option. I had to continue to push past it. Even though life was happening to my body, life was happening to me, what did that do with the children that needed to be fed by the leaders and the people in the business? Absolutely nothing. So if it's already in you, you might as well go ahead and deliver it. You might as well go ahead and push, because you can't pull it back. Push it out. Through the pain, through the process, you might as well push and then sit back and celebrate. Look at the delivery, but you're going back in that room again. It may not be your seat that you're pushing for. You may now go in for your partner saying, okay, I've been there. I know they're not answering the phone. I know they can't see it like you. I've been there, but you can do it. Let's push. So that's been the key, the driving force of the team, the partners, the whole Traci Lynn. If I can go in that room with some scrubs, as scared as I am with blood and all that, I will wrap up, scrub up, be in there. Let's push. It's in there. We might as well go ahead and deliver it. So that's been the pushing force for us.
Excellent. Now, Melinda, what type of mindset do you have to have in business and in this business to push past any disappointment? Because a lot of times we may be at a place and it's not necessarily the place we want to be at. And we then have to shake it off. Because if you don't shake it off, if you focus on your past, you can't focus on your future. And your future is always waiting for you. But your past is ready to hold you hostage. So what techniques have you found? What is it that now you're developing to help yourself move forward as well as the rest of your team?
The word that I can say is resilience. Because you have to be resilient. You have to make it up in your mind that you will move forward no matter what it looks like. You have to believe the end from the beginning. You have to see yourself there first. And know that through the process, no matter what ups and downs you experience, no matter what hills and valleys you may be in, that the ultimate goal is still there and you will reach your destiny if you believe. If you believe and have faith knowing that God's going to see you through. I know that no matter what it looks like, I believe God. And I trust that I'm not going to continue to talk big and play small. A lot of times I was talking big and playing small, and now it's time to talk big, think big, and love big, okay? Love big and help others along the journey, help all of us reach that destiny together, and I know it's possible. And when you know it's possible, you know with God all things are possible. But when you know deep down in your heart that it's possible, that nothing can stop you, you just go. Just go, grow, and I'll tell you, you're going to glow. Right?
That's it. All right. Now you're rhyming. I see you. Now, one of the things, even in any business, and even in our business, a lot of people believe in something called get rich quick. Let me just help everybody. I'm talking to you out there in the audience. There is no get rich quick. Now, okay, you hit the lottery, that's a different story. But in terms of working it, you're going to have to work it out. Now, in business, there is something called process. And people don't want to process. They want to progress, but not process. In order to get to the progress, to get all the things people tell you about, one of the things that they don't talk about, even in businesses, is the process. And that's the thing I focus on all the time. Because in order to get the progress, in order to have all these great things, in order to be wealthy, in order to leave generational wealth, you've got to be open to the process. So Janet, help me with process. Help the viewers with process, because process is something, oh my goodness, you might have been real good in something else. But then when you're an entrepreneur, now you've got to lead people. Now you've got to love people. Then you've got to love some unlovables. I don't mean to say that. Okay, this. So you've got to do all of that and still have your process. You know, I appreciate all that wonderful stuff. You say, oh, Dr. Lynn. Dr. Lynn was selfish. Can you believe that? I'm an only child. Everything was always about me. I was an only child. So you know, me and my mother have a side joke. I be like, they talking about me, mother. You see this? You see this? But because it's called renewing of the mind, becoming the person that God created me to be, and being transformed by renewing my mind, and now walking into my assignment, and my assignment had other people involved. So, quick point. for all of you out there, if your purpose does not involve other people, God's not in that. So if it's all about you and your bad self, and God is not in it, it's not about it. God's not in it. It has to be about other people. That's how you know God is in it. Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to do this and do that. Well, if God is in it, then that means other people will be affected by it. So you got to remember that in terms of your purpose. So help me with transforming the mind and handling process in business.
Dr. Lynn, I'm so glad you asked that question, because process, as you said, starts in the mind.
Yes, it does.
But you have to be humble enough to know that even with your bad self, you can still learn from others. And you have to be willing to put yourself in a position to learn. We've had some hard calls.
Yeah, we did. You talking about me and you?
Oh, yeah.
We have.
But you learn. If you can just listen, receive that criticism, that love, that concern, understand that when someone comes to you with something that they need to share with you, shut up and listen.
Yes.
Be humble enough. Be willing to shut it down and listen. And then walk away and come back to it, just as Charlene, my Diamond Executive Vice President of Line, shared earlier, that you have got to be willing to listen and then bring it back and say, thank you, Dr. Lynn, and bring that good report back. Because if you haven't learned anything, then you cannot progress without going through the process. So I thank God for the process.
I do too.
I really do. Cancer was a process. Anytime within your very first chemo treatment, every single hair on your whole entire body is gone. When you can hardly eat because you have sores in your mouth. You can hardly walk because every cuticle has been stripped away. So your feet are so sore you can hardly walk. Your fingernails have fallen off. I'm not talking about brittle, fallen off. You look in the mirror and you can hardly even recognize yourself.
Wow. That's a process.
That's a process.
Yes, it is. It's a process.
But you have to believe that God can and that He will. And that's what I tell myself every single day. That God, I know that you can. And if I put my trust in you, I know that you will.
And He did it.
And He did it.
He did it.
He put me back together.
Yes, He did. Yes.
Than when I was before.
There you go. Better than before. Somebody say process. Oh, yes. Process leads to progress. I tell you what, this has been an incredible time with all of you here on this stage. I mean, so much to learn, so much to glean. And if I could just say one thing that would sum this whole thing up, it would be that we all have resilience on this stage. We have the resilience to hang in there. And like I always say, we can take a licking and keep on ticking. And you have it. You absolutely have it. And those of you who are listening, you have it in you. It is your time to do some great things. And I'm going to be sharing some testimonials. A lot of the ladies on here have individual testimonies, and I'm going to be running those stories so that you can hear that. But I want you to remember that you have greatness in you. and you can make it happen. Transform your mindset. Set the date, set a plan, set the intention, because it's yours. God wouldn't put a dream in your mind that he didn't plan to put in your hand. You wouldn't dream that way in your mind if he didn't plan to put it in your hand. Because you out there, you are built to amaze. You are God's creation, wonderfully and fearfully made. And greatness is upon you. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us. Thank you again. My announcer's coming. But you have been wonderful because it's your time. Is it not? It's your time. It's your time. It's your time for great things to happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your financial contributions. All donations given this month will receive a thank you gift. To order Traci Lynn products or follow Traci Lynn Ministries, please visit TraciLynnMinistries.com or contact 877-TRACILYN, 877-872-2456, P.O. Box 7020, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33338. Like us on Facebook at Traci Lynn Ministries. Follow us on Twitter at Dr. Traci Lynn. Thank you for supporting Traci Lynn Ministries. You can find this episode and past episodes on YouTube. Search Traci Lynn Ministries. You can also visit the online Traci Lynn Ministries store for featured products including Powerful Leadership Skills, Don't Break Down, Break Through, The Mind of a Millionaire, Birthing Your Vision, Victorious Christian Finance, and many other motivational and empowering products. Thank you for your support.
Dream big, financial freedom, lifestyle change, additional income, be your own boss. If this is the life you've dreamed of, Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry is the business for you.
This business is simple. If you can wear the jewelry, you can sell the jewelry.
I've earned a $10,000 bonus check.
I'm able to earn $600 to $800 per show and more.
Visit TraciLynnJewelry.com and remember,
Behind every great woman are more great women.